Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial for Cities Skylines. I'm going to be running you through top tips, how to get started, and I hope you enjoy. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks. So, first thing you want to do is find the highway, and you want to build a dirt road way out here, and then another dirt road here. So these are going to be the main arteries in and out of the city. Right. Then want to freeform, which is this button here. And you want to kind of curve them round. Curve roads are really good. Join that up there and make another one, just to help the flow of traffic. Once you get a bit more money, you can buy this bit. Sort of have these little outcroppings coming out here. That's really good. Can you put all your housing there? It's a nice river area as well, so the residents will enjoy it. Now, you'll see we now have the option for this one-way road. Now, these are really useful for housing areas, small residential areas, because people just want to go one way. If you go both ways, people get stuck. People trying to cross the road can't because it's two ways traffic. It just gets very complicated. So, residential areas, you really just want to have one way. Now, the problem with one-way roads is that you can't, if you notice that the arrows are pointing in the direction that the traffic will be going, you can't change that. It's stuck there. So that's one of the downsides. You have to be really careful how you place them. You see how I'm placing these roads now? You really just, when you start off, want to have as little, doesn't tell you anything you need to know. I don't know why they included it. You just want to ignore that for the rest of the game. Now, once you've built your roads, a few roads like I have here, you want to start adding your residential, commercial, and industrial areas. Now, it's best to mix these zones as much as possible. You don't want to have one area just residential, one area just industrial, and one area just commercial. That really just messes things up and confuses it. What you really want is to have everything in close together, because say I want some residential area here, people living there, they need to go to work, so you put some industrial there for their jobs, then they want to buy things, so you put some commercial in there as well. And you just start filling it out randomly. I mean, this is pretty laid out, you want to avoid that. I was just using that as an example. Really just want to be throwing it all in there like this, keeping it pretty random, and that adds some variety for your population. It's really helpful. Now, notice I haven't started the time yet because you don't want to. You got to get as much built as possible before you start, because you'll start losing money as soon as you press that start button. So you really want to build everything first. Now I'm going to get on to the water. Now the water, you got to get pumped from the ocean, right? And if you look at the ocean, if you look at the river here, it has these arrows. Now those arrows are pointing away from the flow. So you see they're pointing this way, the flow is actually going that way. I don't know why they did it like that. It seems pretty counterintuitive, but that's just how they decided to do it. So you want to make sure that your water is being pumped upstream from the sewage. So there, and the sewage there. So the water will be flowing this way from here to here. So clean water is coming in, it gets sucked up by the water pump for people to drink and shower in. You don't want to mix that with the dirty sewage water that's going to be coming out of here, so you've got to make sure that is upstream from that. And you can tell it's upstream because, again, the arrows point in the direction opposite to the flow of water. Now we've got those built in, you want to pipe them. You want to go over here and you want to just throw them around as much as you can, because you want to make sure that your residents get as much water as they possibly can. So just try and encompass all of the area as much as you can. Don't worry about Redundancy, that's great because, you know, if one pipe bursts, because that can happen in the game, if a pipe bursts, you've got other pipes in there that can keep the flow going, as you can see I've done here. You want to get these loops going just in case some of them burst. Okay, and then you want to do the same with the sewage. Now the sewage can't touch the water pipelines. That's so important because you don't want that sewage to mix with the clean water. So you've got to make your own network going around the existing water pipes, and they cannot touch, they cannot connect. This might get quite annoying sometimes, quite difficult, but you've got to put them around. And you see I've run out of money. That's okay because I've set up this city enough now that I can start getting some residents in and some businesses, and they'll start paying taxes. You can get your money flowing. Now another important thing to remember is you want the smallest possible roads. You see here single lanes if possible, but I've actually got double lanes here because that is not the smallest you can get. You can get single lanes, but I just find that it doesn't really have the aesthetic that you want, so I've gone for the double lanes here. You want the smallest roads as possible because you have bigger roads, you have more cars and more traffic, and that just causes congestion and will really fuck up your city. Now the next thing to note is the lack of roundabouts. You really don't want to be having roundabouts because roundabouts just cause congestion. They're really not helpful. They just look nice, so I get why some people put them in. Personally, I try to get as many intersections in there as possible because the more intersections you have, the slower the traffic will be, which will ease congestion and just make the traffic flow a lot better. So no roundabouts, lots of intersections. That's the golden rule. So I'm just going to press start here, get that money flowing in. You want to go as fast as possible so you have no idea what's going on. That's really my top tip is always keep it on the fastest speed because you don't want to be able to keep up with the growing demands because that's just unrealistic. You want to be looking at the biggest issues, taking the biggest problems first and foremost, just as they come. Now you can see there's no power here. Don't worry about that. They don't need power. They're just greedy. Later on, maybe you can afford to build power station. Personally, I never do because they can just get solar panels. You know, why should I provide them with their power? They can just make their own. You see here that I'm losing money. That's okay because as you can see there, the negative balance is reducing and soon I'll be making a profit. Now, that's what this game's all about, profit. So maximize the earnings while minimizing the amount of costs, and the way you can do that is by making the quality of life for your citizens as low as possible. Remember, rich citizens don't pay tax, so why would you want them there? They'll just be paying accountants to avoid the tax. You make no money. You want the poorest citizens possible so that they can pay as much tax as possible. Now, if you go to the finance section, you can see there's a taxes bit. I can't do that yet. That's fine. But eventually that will be unlocked. And what you can do is raise the taxes as high as possible for the lowest earners. And that's great because they can't leave. They can't afford to buy a new home, so they're forced to stay there. If you raise the rich people's taxes, they'll just go. And that's not what you want. Now, you see I've just got an achievement there saying unpopular mayor. Don't worry about that, that's very normal. They're just... Now, you see we're almost at a profit now, but I'm just going to add more residential areas. As many as I can, just in a random area, really spaced out. You don't need them next to each other because people will just start competing for space, and that's not good. You want to keep as low a population density as possible because you don't want them building those big expensive skyscrapers and wasting all the money they could be paying in tax. Now, I haven't unlocked it yet, but eventually you'll be able to get landfills and garbage disposal. Now, you want to put the landfills right in the middle and as close as possible to all of the housing, the residential areas. The reason you want to do this is because it shortens the amount of time it takes in the garbage trucks to collect rubbish, to then drop it off at the garbage centres and the landfills. Don't worry about... Cut that bit out. Now, some of the residents might complain about the smell. Just ignore them, they can't do anything about it. And just be glad that you're saving money on garbage time. Cut that bit out, that was poorly. The residents will complain about the smell. Just ignore them and enjoy the fact that you'll be saving so much money by employing less garbage men. Well, you can see here that a lot of these houses are abandoned. That's okay. Eventually they'll fill up. That's just a sign that actually people are getting priced out of the neighborhood. That's not good. So just to lower the land value, I'm just going to get rid of the sewage collection, the sewage distribution, and the water tanks. This should bring people back in because it'll lower the price of the housing. So as you can see, our city is really thriving. We're almost at a positive income, and that's really exciting because we can start spending money on really cool and unnecessary things that no one will use, like cargo planes and tourist planes and tourist attractions like stadiums. You know, things that your residents really don't need, but will bring in a lot of tourists that will give you more money because you'll tax the hell out of the... Yeah, cut this bit out. I'm just going to wait until... Oh, here we go. Now you can see here I've got a bankruptcy alert. That's actually really good because you can see here I'm going to get $50,000 absolutely free. That's absolutely perfect. So I can now go into building some more stuff. That means you want more residential areas. Yeah, the reason there's a demand for commercial is because there aren't enough people to buy products. So you just need to add as much residential areas rather as possible. Now, these people are really getting annoyed. So I'm going to add some water and some sewage just to shut them up. As you can see, they're still not happy about that, and that just goes to show that you can't trust what they say they want. Electricity seems to be an issue, so I'm going to give them a coal power plant right there. It's good to put it near to the houses because it means that you don't need to add power lines. As you can see, everyone's getting very happy about having a coal power plant next door. That's because it's a place for them to work and actually massively increases the quality of the housing. See all these abandoned buildings are being replaced now because everyone's moving in. Now, these indications here, these sewage things, that's to show that the sewage is connected and that it's working. So you want to see as many of those as possible. Just ignore this. This is worthless. Now you can see that we're losing money hand over fist. This is exactly what we want because best case scenario, we'll declare bankruptcy again and get another $50,000 absolutely free. Worst case scenario, we'll start making money. That's not great because that's not how real life works. But hey, it's a video game. Now, if you go into the traffic icon, which you can find here. So again, you can find that we're going to the top left of your screen. Clicking on info views. Then going down here, that's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 down from the top left, which is electricity. So there you'll find traffic, right? So just to recap, top left, info views, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, traffic, and you just click that. And it will tell you the average traffic flow. And as you can see, having really thin roads and no roundabouts put your average traffic flow at a really high level of 95%. Now, that's actually not what you want. The higher the traffic flow, the more people are going to try and leave, and that's not what you want to happen, because if they leave, they won't pay taxes. So what you're actually going to want to do here is go to this thing down here called bulldozer and just bulldoze the way out. That way they can't leave and they're forced to pay taxes. Now, you may wonder about the people moving in. That's fine, you don't want that anyway. You can just have the people's children work for you, and hopefully your population will grow over time. This doesn't always happen because sometimes people just die of the lack of hospitals. However, every 1 in 5 games, you'll get lucky and they'll just start producing, and that's really great. That's just what you want, and you just keep making new games until that happens. So as you can see here, everyone's very happy that they've got water, and they're very happy that they've got housing. Now, this is pretty much setting me up for a great game, and I hope you guys have learned a lot, and if you do, please show your appreciation by going onto my OnlyFans. It's City Skylines Lover 69420. yeah, just hit me up and drop a donation. I'll give you something in return. But if not, there's going to be a part 2 of this 90-part series coming next month. So tune in then, and yeah, enjoy.